Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox back for another episode, and I'm absolutely thrilled to have back with me Janelle Lindley. Janelle, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Janelle, we are a little over a month out now from the end of the show, The Magnificent Seven Rides Again. And I wanted to start with asking you, what were some of your reflections from this year's show?
This year's show, I think the thing that happened the most is that we had more people. We had more people at the reception and it we when we did the big bowl with everybody's name, everybody that wanted to be a part of that to get a free print from each one of us, or we had those cards from last time. My husband Joe did the putting it online and everything. And so we were amazed at having twice as many, maybe almost 3 times as many cards this time. And a lot of those were people we had met at the reception that we had. And it was so much fun because they love to talk about the art and love to talk about how do you do it and why, everything about it. I think that's what I noticed the most, more people.
How about the reception you got from the people viewing the art? Did you see any 8-year-old girl with eyes wide open and have a chance to talk to her about what she saw or what she felt or any of those sorts of things?
Yes, there were it seemed like we had a lot of kids going by, and I love talking to them. I taught art in elementary school my whole career, and so I love letting them understand what paper painting is and touch it and feel the texture. And they're always interested. They really like to know, "Well, what do you mean you tore paper and glued it on?" They want to know all the details. So it's really fun to have them come by, and the mothers, the adults also wanna know how to do it. So I think one thing that's gonna be a big plus for me is I've had quite a few people wanna take my class that's gonna be in March, and I told them they were welcome to bring their 8-year-old or and let them also try it. So I think it's gonna be a different kind of class that I'm gonna have. It'll be fun.
I guess I met you all a little over a year ago, but have you seen a sort of a growth in the local arts community because of the work that you all have done, both as part of the Magnificent Seven, but also just the different shows you've been to? Obviously, the podcast got a lot of notoriety, but do you see sort of a kind of a burgeoning little art scene here in Kerrville and Kerr County?
I do think it has improved, or at least from our point of view. We seem to have met a lot of people, and we see them at other art shows, and I do think it has grown. It seems like we just have more people that are interested, and I think somewhat whenever you have a lot of artists together, not just the 7 of us, but others too, we learn from each other, and we learn about different art shows. We learn, "Oh, I wanna go here. I wanna do this. How did you do this?" And things like that. So I think it has kind of bloomed every time we do it.
What did you feel or sort of I'm really intrigued by what do you do after you have a major effort, which is to prepare for an exhibit like the Magnificent Seven Rides Again, and then you literally have a month where you're kind of on show and you're down at the exhibit several times and you're talking to people about the exhibit, and as you said, getting a lot of traffic through the KCC. Sort of what's it like thereafter? Is it a heavy exhalation, heavy breath out? Is it, "Phew, glad that's over"? Is it, "Do I build on this for my next set of work?" Or what do you feel at sort of in mid or late October when it was over with?
It's interesting because a little bit of all of those. I mean, you are exhausted, you're tired, but, I think several of us, many of us, maybe all 8, 7 of us, have other art shows. And I know with me, they all overlapped. We'd have this art show, and then halfway through, before it was finished, we had another art show, and they just kinda kept doing like that. So you would still have part of your art here and part of your art here. Then you get that one taken down, and then another one start. I've had one just consistently, and it is tiring. It takes a lot of energy just to be prepared for another art show and make sure that you've got all this and you're putting this up and everything. but it's also exciting. It's fun because they're all a little different. You have different booths, different places, different meeting different people. And I won't say you're not exhausted after all this because you are. I don't know sometimes if people understand how much work does go into it. And I think several of us will have several paintings going at the same time. You'll have one on this easel and one over here. And I usually try to have a paper painting going and a painting going at the same time so that I can kind of go back and forth.
As we move into the last quarter of 2024, obviously the seasons have started to change. Weather this week particularly has been nice and cool. We were blessed with more rain than we've had in several years. This year, we've had green for longer. But I wondered what's it like in your artist eye to see the seasons change? And are you attuned to that rhythm from an artist perspective as opposed to someone who may be an outdoors person or a naturalist or something like that? Do you see that change as an opportunity to create something different?
I think we do. I think everybody probably does because I know I am always looking at landscapes. I'm looking at the trees, I'm looking at the plants, I'm looking at the sky. That's what I like to do. And I take pictures constantly with just my phone and then come home, print them, have them put aside so it's like a beginning for me. It does make you have the fall photos when you look at all the trees and everything. And then when it's spring, you have a different outlook on it. So I think you do. It does affect you. But I know I don't always paint just spring scenes in spring. It's like when I get ready to do a new painting, I'm going through all of them, all of my photos that I've taken to look at, kind of springboard off of those. But I think we all are affected by it.
But in the winter, I'm always intrigued because I really enjoy the bareness, but I find a lot of color in the winter. Is that the same for you? You just see a different color or is it something different?
Me, I find color in just about everything. That's kind of my thing is color. I love to have color. So I do. I just look for that and I tend to accentuate it so that it's a little bolder than maybe what it really is. I don't always paint things just exactly the way they are. But and there's always the sky that you're always gonna have the sunset, the sunrise, and even in different parts of the year or the days, everything.
You mentioned the class or classes you're going to teach in March. For those who have not heard you on a prior podcast, you're basically a lifelong educator and have been a teacher in art. Uh, Tell me about the art class or classes you have coming up.
The classes I teach here that
Right.
I've okay, the ones I've been doing recently are at the Hill Country Art Foundation, and I've only done, like, about 3 a year. I will reserve because if you look, they have workshops all the time going on there, and so I reserve it, and I have it, and I've always enjoyed it. It's so much fun. I try to emphasize to people that you don't have to have a ton of art background to do this. It's fun and we're going to learn how to do the papers to get them use a brayer and a jelly plate and do all kinds of different colors and patterns and designs on different papers that already have that. Like you take music paper, old music books and use that, or maps or children's books and have those ready. And then when it comes time to actually create the painting, sketch it in, and then I teach them instead of just getting paint on a paintbrush, you're tearing that paper and getting the color you need and gluing it on. Yes, it's more tedious, takes a little bit more time, makes a bigger mess, but it is so much fun and it provides such a texture to your painting that are hard it's hard to do with just paint. I really enjoy doing it, and of course, they have a great, big, nice area over there with lots of tables. So no matter how many we have, we just spread the tables out so everybody has lots of room to work, and we learn a lot from each other.
Can you share with us some of the work you might be working on now in terms of either a painting or a paper?
Do you know I am right in between? I just finished some things, so I probably have an unfinished something pushed back that I haven't done, but I'm anxious to do some of the ones from the photos that I do have, and they're just whenever I'm out walking, I walk every day, and I get all kinds of pictures of trees and the river. We're not far from the river, so I get lots of pictures of that, and I really enjoy doing those. But right this minute, I do not have one up on the easel that I'm working on. I am still trying to get organized from the last 4 art shows that were just one right after another, and my studio looks pretty unorganized right now.
Other than the Magnificent Seven in 2025, do you have any other art shows, what you're thinking about, or you've already signed up for and you're thinking about artwork for those art
Mhm.
shows?
That I am. One of the art shows that we had done this fall was Cottonwood in Richardson, little suburb of in the Dallas area, and that's where I taught school, and that's where we raised our family, and we had not been back to do that show in a while. And I say we because my husband does a lot of the work. It's like a team thing because he does the framing and he does the finishing of the resin or the varnish. Anyway, so we had not done the cottonwood in a while. Years ago, I used to do it every time. Now we just finished one, 1st of November, and now their next one is in, I think it's April. And so we have applied to that. I applied to do that one again. But again, you have to be accepted. And then there's another one in the area, South Lake, that I've done it before, but it's been a while since I've done it. So I've applied to that, and that is in it's either April or May. I can't remember exactly which. Let's see. And then I am doing a show at the Hill Country Art Foundation that is just in a small little studio, a little gallery that they call the Creekside Gallery. And the reason I'm doing it's called a solo show. It's just me doing it. One of the art contests, I should say, that we had this year, I won 1st place, and so as a 1st place prize, I get to do a show there in that area. So that's what I'm gonna be working for, and that's in February. So it'll be here before you know it. So I am gonna be trying to work on some smaller things because I tend to do really big things, and I need to be doing probably some other size things.
Have you started thinking about the Magnificent Seven in 2025?
We all are excited about it. We haven't met to have any plans of anything different. However, one thing that we did this year that I did not get to participate in because I had another art show that I was working on is to come up there during the day and bring our easel or whatever and work on some art there with people coming through watching. And I did not get to do that, but I heard it was a lot of fun. So that's something I think we definitely want to do next year. So I don't know of anything other than I think I had mentioned when we get to have our pictures made with the horses, why don't we get on the horses next year? But no, we're not doing that.
Janelle, I wanted to thank you again, and perhaps I can
Mhm,
check in with you in first quarter of the year to see how
mhm.
things are progressing.
Okay, sounds good.